Ay, 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 was this movie adorable. 5 Year Engagement is about Tom, Jason Segel, who is an up-and-coming chef who proposes to the love of his life, Violet, Emily Blunt. When she gets a job in Michigan, Tom sacrifices his career and puts off their wedding until they get their bearings, which, unbeknownst to them, was going to be a lot harder than they first expected. This movie is just as charming and endearing as Jason Segel's face, which, believe you me, is quite charming. It kept me laughing and crying throughout. However, I can't help but feel that the overlong last third of the film wasted the goodwill built up in the first part of the film. I wouldn't say that this was his best film. In fact, I did find myself a little disappointed in a good chunk of it. This film dutifully hits the marks of its genre and does have a lot of funny scenes and goofy scenarios. And at the same time, it was sincere about the unpredictability of life and the everyday challenges of love. A lot of what made me like this movie was the chemistry and banter between the characters, especially between Violet's sister and Tom's friend Alex, particularly the scene after Tom and Violet's engagement party, where Alex tries to hit on Violet's sister. The sheer awkwardness of Alex's attempts makes you laugh out loud and is a good example of the quirkiness that is seen throughout the film. However, that scene was in the beginning, and the quirkiness that the lead actors could bring to the table can't overcome the sheer ordeal of watching the story play itself out. But there are a ton of funny and uplifting scenes to counterbalance the not-so-uplifting ones. In fact, one of my favorite parts is where Jason Segel takes the reins and starts to plan the wedding on his own, playing with gender roles in a not-so-subtle way by taking him and his friends out to taste cake with him. A lot of the comedy comes from testing Tom's manhood, and this particular scene had me laughing out loud. Later on in the film, the only thing that proves Tom's manliness, because he's no longer the bread maker or the decision maker in this relationship, is the fact that he goes out hunting nearly every weekend and hysterically makes bizarre objects out of the deer that he's hunted. Despite his crazy mountain man stage, you really feel a lot of sympathy for Tom's character, and both Tom and Violet are really easy to relate to. It's hard not to feel bad for him when he ends up working at a sandwich shop instead of getting the head chef position he would have gotten had he not moved to Ann Arbor with Violet. What really went wrong with Violet and Tom was the fact that they were just at the wrong place in the wrong time, and it didn't do either of them good. So was this movie worth the price of admission? I will admit, this movie had a sweeter than honey ending and kept you laughing throughout. In some ways, I could see this film being the lesser forgetting Sarah Marshall, seeing as how Segel's character was typical quirky character that he plays in most romantic comedies. That being said, I love Jason Segel, and I adored Emily Blunt. This movie was very sweet and endearing. So if you are a fan of Jason Segel, then this is definitely worth the price of admission. But if you're not, then you might find yourself a little disappointed, but just a little.
I agree completely. Like there was, like this movie had so much, like it was building up to a lot. Like we said, like the third part of it, where it was just, it got weird. Like it got like the depressing part. It was just like
it made you, as you were watching it, when it got to that one point in the film, it made you think that it was going to end there. Like this movie definitely felt like it was 20 minutes longer than it should have. And I feel like in a lot of ways, like that I really like this movie because I feel like I have to like this movie.
Yeah, well, it's
you
like,
know?
I mean, I liked it a lot. Like, I definitely think that you should check this out because of like all the cameos just made it like so amazing. Like,
so
Alison Brie as his sister, Chris Pratt, Brian Posehn, Chris Parnell. Like, it just Mindy Kaling. Like, it's got a great cast, but it's just it just like kept going. It was just, you need to do something else.
And the ending, I would say I liked the ending, but it shouldn't have ended the way it did.
Yeah.
Especially with the way they were building it up, and then all of a sudden just went a completely opposite direction.
Yeah.
Just
What I thought would have been interesting is if they did something different, and it would have been like you know how you said how he has to move for her job.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were gonna do something where like they have to move for his job or something like that, where it's like it kind of switches it like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just like the whole movie was just like she's the one that's separate, like bringing them apart with her job. So it was, I mean, it was just kind of relentless, but still.
Yeah, I still liked it. It was funny. I think you should see it. But don't spend 5 years before you subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/thepriceofadmission. Our other reviews and interviews are very engaging. Don't let that ending deter you from liking and commenting on our videos.